Alrighty, so on Frag side, we've got once again the Mikasa robbing Peter to pay Paul. We've got a John Bart Black, a Grosser Kurfürst, and a Thunderer. We saw earlier how the Thunderer had some good but kind of adverse effects. And with the Kurfürst in the secondary brawl and the John Bart as well. Does the John Bart have turtleback armor? Is that a thing?
It does.
It does.
Actually. Yeah,
Okay.
almost the same as Alsace, if I remember correctly. And on the other side, I think Rage I'm doing. So we got an Ohio, Pommern, Mikasa, and Kremlin. So either a very tanky battleship like the Kremlin, or the secondary heavy ships like the Ohio and Pommern. Looks like they're doing 10, 10, 9, and then 2. So they're severely cutting down on their Mikasa to give their other 3 battleships really big advantages. And then here we have the Mikasa, and on your side, they're doing the exact same thing, cutting with the Mikasa, and basically letting it be like a sole cap contester, while the other 3 battleships are a lot more powerful since they have higher tiers. So it looks like the Pommern and the Ohio are heading into middle at the moment, completely ignoring C, which is actually the strangest thing we've probably seen so far. Usually a lot of people go C, which is where they just hold a standoff, which is, I mean, I'm thrilled to see because this is a different comp. Kremlin looks like he's going straight for A. Mikasa is going straight for B. Or actually straight for A also, but kind of stopping.
All right, yeah. Pommern, Ohio going mid, Mikasa. Yeah, okay. So it looks like C is going to be falling to Frag. They just don't know it yet. Lewis TR going pretty wide of Charlie, which is, I guess he's just really trying to make use of the range. Doesn't realize it's just not even going to be in the fight. And if D Muds goes all the way to C, that's going to leave a John Bart to suddenly have to deal with two battleships running it down mid while a Kremlin is moving over for crossfire. That could potentially be really problematic for that John Bart, especially with the Thunderer just not even in range and the Kurfürst looking at a completely different section of the map.
What's their Thunderer even doing? He's beaching early? Why?
Maybe bleeding speed or looking to reverse into the cap.
Maybe. It's very strange, to be honest, though. I mean, if they haven't spotted anybody by now, and they probably see the Ohio fighter, they should just be pushing straight into C, in my opinion. Honestly, if the Pommern just stays right there, and the Ohio stays like where he is, they could just both just completely perma-nuke the Sean Bart as he attempts to cross that channel. Mikasa is there to help the Sean Bart a little bit, but not that much.
A little sprinkle of secondaries coming by as the Ohio spotter plane happens to take a gander. But the spotter plane guy goes, fuck this shit, flies back down. Go get himself a hamburger.
So Rage has officially capped A for free, and they also managed to cap B, which is supposed to be the contest cap. Looks like Fragmentation's clan is playing very passively. Seems the Sean Bart is running off the screen as well as their Mikasa. Their GK is pushing around, but he has been, a little slow to the punch. The Thunder is still reversing into the cap for some strange reason. He should just be pushing with the GK or going back to help with the Mikasa and Sean Bart.
Okay.
Although everybody is very healthy.
Yeah, a whole bunch of not much has happened. Just taking some positions. Fury's definitely got the scary part of the positioning down, while Frag is looking for where do we go to get our advantages. Kurfürst moving in behind is going to start pushing that Ohio forward. Might get eyes on the Mikasa, but probably not. Mikasa's just running for the edge of the map. Doesn't want to cede the points over. And there's the Kurfürst spotter getting spotted. Thunder of Lewis TR moving, and the Kremlin is arranging his bow in as he starts coming north for the pinch. Strangely enough, Bravo is not committing. They're reversing. Now that GK spotter plane gave away his position, the Ohio guns loaded, waiting for that Kurfürst. Secondaries out. Somebody's got spotted. Ohio staying angled. Thunderer not able to contribute. John Bart not either. And looks like the Bart and the Kremlin are going to make friends. Palmer's going to be pulling back and maybe trying to help with the GK in a bit, but right now it's Ohio v GK. With the Palmer and Thunder looking for what they can.
Very smart shots, not even like reversing to give the GK the chance to fire on the Ohio. Right now, Rage or Fury is actually very up on points. They're up 100 and not in 2 caps. They win in 7 minutes if nobody dies. Honestly, I think this Kremlin over here just needs to back off. I mean, if they want to play a passive game, which was what they have been doing, this Kremlin should probably just reverse out of sight. The Mikasa completely getting ignored here for the Sean Bart and the Thunder instead.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think if the Kremlin is able to back up and kind of disengage, right now Rage has their win condition, or sorry, Fury has their win condition. They've got 2 caps to 1. It's only when a kill happens that the point lead gets so skewed. But then again, as long as the Kremlin stays alive, there's no kills. Mikasa of Warlord hiding in the back, not really doing much, and the GK of D-Muds has been pushed back. That's going to leave some juggling in the mid, some health trading onto the John Bart, but no danger of going down for the Bart. Really just comes down to, does the Kremlin get focused by the Thunder, John Bart, and the Curve first? And if he keeps reversing, he's probably going to stay safe. But that's still 3 ships to 1. That's a lot.
The Kremlin is taking a bit of hits here. He just took at least a 16k salvo from the Thunderer around. And he is burning. I don't think the Kremlin will eventually survive this, as this is a very small map and we don't have the detection ranges. But if I'm accurate, like, the Thunderer and Jean Bart are both within the Kremlin's firing range, detectability range. So even if you just try to go dark, he can't possibly. So the Kremlin's only hope, honestly, is if for the Palmer and the Ohio to actually help out with these 3 in the back. Jean Bart is half HP. He did take a big chunk from the Kremlin. But because he is in a crossfire at the moment, Kremlin is on 35k and 27k. What is he on now after this Jean Bart strike?
Yeah. 27K. Fury bleeding health. But they might be bleeding health, but they're not bleeding points. Right now, they're up 200 points. Typical swing on a battleship going to be a 100-point swing, so they can comfortably lose the Kremlin at this point, still maintaining the lead. They got 7 minutes left in the match. Palmer and the Ohio are pulling back, making sure to keep safe from D-Mud's GK, as they're still able to take pot shots out at that Thunder or potentially the Bart. No, not the Palmer. Palmer's too close to the island, unable to clear it, as he fires into the dirt and scares the shit out of a random bear in the woods. Some shells coming over into the Ohio. They're finding purchase, and has the Kremlin popped off? No, Kremlin's still being seen, so they're going to keep up the pressure, but now looking to stick some shells in the Ohio maybe, as the fire from frag is actually starting to fragment across a few multiple targets. They're spreading the love around.
Yep. Honestly, if they actually want to secure this win, they really need to keep on focusing that Kremlin out, make sure he doesn't go dark. Looks like the Mikasa is chugging along to keep him spotted, acting as their DD underratedly. GK is actually pushing in to B to contest it. It looks like he's gonna go for it, actually. With the Thunder as his help.
It looks like the GK is gonna go for it, but you can't forget that Palmer's got torps. And if that GK, as much as he's gonna be quote-unquote immune to Citadels, he is not going to be immune to torps. He might have some pretty decent protection, but even still, 4 torps right into the side is going to be a sizable chunk of that health pool. But what he has done, if nothing else, is to block that cap and stem the point bleed, so that at least both teams are gaining points at the same rate. And if that Palmer continues to back up, they're going to start ceding the cap to D-Muds. Granted,
now the Kremlin is on 16k, and looks like he might start burning after the salvo here.
Yeah, potentially.
Honestly, this is very smart. I mean, Unlike what Fury is doing, they're relying heavily on their 3 high-tier battleships and not even letting their Mikasa do anything.
Yep.
Looks like he actually is going to the sea cap, but I mean, look what Frag's Mikasa is doing. He's keeping the Kremlin spotted because his forward speed, underratedly, is faster than the Kremlin's reverse speed. So he's just keeping the Sean Bart, he's keeping the Kremlin lit for the Sean Bart to actually eventually, chip him down.
Yeah, Kremlin being chipped down to about 2,300. As soon as he did catch a fire from those barge shells, he immediately damage conned. Don't know how many of those he has left. Kremlin usually, I think, only having about 5.
Yes.
Ohio has been pushed out of the cap. Pommern even bailing. Torps moving over the Ohio's shoulder. Nope, Ohio is looking to maybe not recommit, but at least keep a toe in. Keep the pool warm. As the Torps come across, the Kerfers has no interest in that. Some shells going into the Thunderer of Lewis TR as we start to see a hard commit. John Bart and the Thunder and the GK. GK watching the Torps go by probably has his Hydro up. That means it's going to be 3 against 2. Kremlin showing some side to the Mikasa, and the Mikasa actually trying to burn the Kremlin down. I hope that was a calculated risk here, because if the Kremlin was completely out of damage cons, well then he would burn. But Mikasa v Kremlin, that's a tough fight, bro.
This Mikasa should not have gotten this close. He should have turned around and left as soon as he saw the Sean Bart leaving. There's no way he wins this, I don't think.
200-point difference. That's going to be a kiss.
Ooh, looks like the GK rammed the Ohio. Okay.
Yep, they had a makeout session. That is going to break the foothold on Bravo. However, the Mikasa of Warlord has finally gotten out the paddles and has been able to row his boat all the way over to sea. Took a while, but he did get there in the end. That's going to block that point gain, which means that once B flips, it's still going to be 1 cap to 2. Mikasa goes down. That's going to be an even bigger lead. That's a little over 340 points in the side of Fury, who is now running 3 ships to 2. And they've got their cheerleader Mikasa, whereas the cheerleader on the other team has gone down. Looking pretty rough.
Looks like the Sean Bart is staying put while the Thunderer goes and continues towards the sea cap. The Pommern actually did make his way around with the Mikasa. Unreally, the Mikasa spent like 5 minutes trying to get sea, while the Pommern maybe took a minute or 2. Looks like they are actually chugging along, getting... Honestly, the Pommern actually might turn around here and go for the Thunder. And the Sean Bart might actually just try and go for A here, but I don't think they have time. They need kills.
Yeah, 1 minute 54 seconds in the match. I don't think these slow ships are going to be able to find that magic BB. It's going to somehow get them 300 points. Right now, unless John Bart or that Thunder has Chuck Norris hidden away somehow in the bottom so that he can turn up the sun and melt away the Fury, I just don't see this one happening. Shells out from the Thunder, ricochet off the Pommern, a few secondary shells being traded back. With a 400-point lead, 2 caps to 1, 3 ships to 2, I think we can comfortably call this one in the favor of Fury.
Yep.
The enemy is about to win.
Lewis TR going for the play, is actually showing a lot of side. Might actually be inviting a Citadel
on the Mikasa.
Oof.
Strange. Doesn't even do any damage to the Mikasa, but somehow knocks out his engine. That's actually very funny. Palmer now has secondaries out on the Sean Bart, who also is...
Look at those torps from the Pommern. That's actually going to be like 2 of them. Thump, thump.
He detonated! He detonated! Oh no!
Well, that's going to send us back to port just a little bit faster. Fury taking the first match.